For the love of the creator, Daniel, wear the mic. Does that count? Wheel of Time, Season 1 predictions. I have a lot of predictions for the first season of the Wheel of Time, and I'd like to get a bunch of them out for you guys to tell me I'm right or wrong, or give me your opinions, because you don't really know if I'm right or wrong yet. So here are my top 5 predictions for the first season of the Wheel of Time. Spoilers for The Eye of the World. I've looked at a bunch of Rafe Judkins' tweets from his Q&A that he did on Twitter, so I'm pulling from that. I'm pulling from what Wednesdays he's done as well, and just making, general educated guesses based off of having a brain and thinking things through. None of this is from inside sources. It's all speculation and opinion. First and foremost, some people thought because the articles said it was emphasizing Moraine for the first season or so that it was picking up with New Spring Novel. I very much so do not think that is the case. In fact, I'm willing to put money down the first shot of season 1 won't even be the prologue from Eye of the World. The first shot will be Tam and Rand walking down a road together and having that experience with them. For many reasons. First and foremost being that establishing Rand and Tam in that way would be really nice, having this kind of grounded moment, and it immediately leads into some suspense, which would work very well for the audience, get you invested. Aside from that, I think episode 1 will be an incredibly true to the book from that scene all the way up until when Moraine and the boys and Egwene leave Emond's Field. We already pretty much know for sure that is episode 1 due to the actual front page of the script being put on Rafe's Instagram for one of his What Wednesdays, and the title of the episode was Leave Taking. Can't really imagine where else the end of episode 1 would be. It would also make episode 1 have these great events in it, like the attack on Emond's Field, and some wonderful introduction to characters like Mat Perrin and Egwene, Tom Merrilin, Moraine, and Lan. Basically giving us the introduction to some of the best characters, making the fans very happy, while not overwhelming new viewers who get some nice little action and suspense build up with the Myrddraal sighting and the Raven and all these things. It's great. So that was prediction 1. They'll start the show that away. Prediction 2. Season 1's just going to be Eye of the World, and it'll probably be between 8 and 10 episodes. The Eye of the World does not have a ton of things happening in it in terms of events, and I'm quite sure that they're just going to straight up walk through the first book fairly truly, because believe it or not, The Eye of the World actually reads pretty episodically. There's all these kind of sub-introductions to different aspects of the world that are knocked out in a few chapters, like the introduction of Forsaken, the Greene Man, all these things can be handled in a individual episode between 8 to 10. So prediction 2, it'll just be Eye of the World, 8 to 10 episodes. Prediction 3, a lot of people are wondering, will they make it really dark and graphic like Game of Thrones? I think they're going to go one of two ways. They're either going to keep it PG-13 for the mass audience appeal, trying to grow what beyond even Game of Thrones could, or they will shift it more towards that grim dark vibe, trying to capture in that Game of Thrones pre-established audience who have shown they like that grim dark vibe. What I think is least likely is them to just stick to exactly the Wheel of Time's rating, because the series actually amps up in the level of graphic depictions as the books go on. The Eye of the World really doesn't have anything that horrific in it. Meanwhile, later on books have very horrific things. So if they start the show at a PG-13 and shift into the grim dark, that could be detrimental because they lose a chunk of their audience. They're much more likely to just stick with what they know and have more of a one consistent rating. So either we're going to see things like the attack on Emond's Field amped up and be bloodier to go ahead and fit that grimdark, or all books will be toned down to the level that Eye of the World is and stick for a more mass audience appeal. I just don't think they're willing to shift how many people are able to watch the show. That was prediction number 3. Prediction number 4. This isn't really a prediction. Rafe Judkins has said it. He really wants to update and amp up the female aspects of the show, really giving women a fantasy show they can really latch onto and relate to. No, it does not prevent men from liking it and enjoying it as well. Everyone can enjoy it. It just means there can be a lot of strong female roles, which I'm totally down for and enjoy as well. But we're going to see people like Egwene, I think, take more of a spotlight early on because she doesn't really get much of the spotlight until later in the series. But I think immediately in even the first season, we will see her character really grow and develop and become understood. That was prediction number 4. Prediction number 5. The handling of the magic system. There needs to be some things that make Wheel of Time stand out from Game of Thrones. Even though Wheel of Time came out first, there will be people who accuse it of trying to rip off Game of Thrones, which is absurd. One of the biggest differences between the two series is how magic is handled. And if you really amplify and bring the Wheel of Time's magic system to the forefront to make it a crucial part of the series right away, I think that could hook a lot of people. Maybe not in episode 1, but certainly by the time we're in episode 3 or 4, I think we're gonna get some very big epic displays of the one power, and I'm totally for that. If you want to see how Robert Jordan saw it coming to life, you can go ahead and look into a new spring novel. I think they might kind of go along those vibes, but make it slightly more of a spectacle because it's a little underwhelming how it's handled in the graphic novel. But once we are in the perspective and familiar with someone who's channeling, I think we as the viewer will be shown weaves because we will have that view that allows us to see them. Or maybe if the scene is focusing on someone who can channel, then we'll see the weaves. I don't think we'll see them every time. I think much of the time, if we're more focused on people who don't have the ability to channel, or maybe for comedic timing, it's better not to see the weaves, we won't see them then. But in combat and things like that, absolutely, weaving will be shown, and I'm hoping it's really beautiful. That at its core is how Wheel of Time channeling should be depicted, as something that is beautiful, because it really is, and I'm excited to see that. But those are my 5 predictions for the Wheel of Time TV show. 1 that will start with the road and Tam and Rand and will end with leave taking. That's been pretty much confirmed, at least the ending part by Rafe himself. 2, it'll be about 8 to 10 episodes and just cover Eye of the World. 3, or maybe 4, I forget which, that female roles will be amped up and strong female characters will be introduced earlier on and enhanced more. 4, the graphic depictions will either kind of go full Game of Thrones or lean more towards the mass audience appeal. I'm not entirely sure which, but we can expect one of those. I don't think it'll progress the exact way that the books certainly get more gory as time goes on. And 5, the magic system will be displayed beautifully and be a real selling point for the Wheel of Time show. In fact, I wholeheartedly believe that it'll be in their marketing quite a bit. Let me know what you guys thought of my predictions for season 1. And what would you like to see take a bigger role in the Wheel of Time? Is there anything you want to see turned up or cranked up all the way, maybe cranked down? We all have an input in my comments section. It won't actually probably matter to the showrunners, but I'm very curious to see what you guys think. Anyway, that's it for me. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here, and leave more clear instructions rather than just attach mic. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.